Welcome back to Magic Rising. Today's topic is conflict. Conflict is one of those things that we go day to day trying to avoid, but it is obviously not going to work 100% of the time. So as magical people, we're going to try to approach situations of conflict magically, and that's good, because what we're doing is using our tools, our magical tools, and our knowledge and our experience, and really facing conflict head on. Now, conflict comes in many forms. It's either something that's very simple, like a conflicting thought you might have, should I do this or should I do that? It could be an argument with a spouse about what movie to watch tonight. Or it could be something a lot more. It could be something as deep and impacting as fighting for human rights, for equal rights. Regardless of what the conflict is, it really struck me today that it's not about what the conflict is, it's about how we approach that situation or that person or that group or whatever we're involved in, and how we actually handle ourselves in those situations. Again, my thought is that with magic, the only thing that you can really use magic to change is yourself. And in doing so, you can change the life around you, including influencing others. And especially when we're talking about situations of conflict, it's incredibly important to understand your true intentions and how you're truly wanting to change in order to achieve some sort of an end goal. So we think about different types of conflict, and we're going to use an example that's pretty simplified. Say you make a post on social media, and your post was something very passionate, you were very proud of, and it was something that you felt, hey, this is gonna do great things. Like, my intention is to get this out there and to do great things. Such good intentions you had at the beginning. Well, someone else could come through and they can see something negative out of it, or even just an opportunity. They can see an opportunity for some kind of improvement or a change to what you came out with, and that's fine. If I'm anything, I am someone who loves feedback, and I really do. I love feedback. I love to change. I love to grow. I think it's a very important part of my life, and I use it in my professional life too. But when someone comes through and their opinion becomes more of a negative reaction, I start to think, is it something where they're trying to cause more harm than good? And I love to see people's positive intentions. I'm a person who doesn't hold grudges. I'm a person who literally treats people that I see every day as a blank slate relationship sort of thing. So when I immediately see someone, maybe they're commenting on my post in social media, and the comment, instead of being something truly constructive, it has some sort of an air of negative impact. It has some sort of either passive aggressive or just completely aggressive or offensive, some sort of commentary to it that really doesn't help. Honestly, in situations of conflict like this, I like to take a step back and think, is this what they're intending to do? Are they intending just to cause harm, or do they have some sort of a good intention behind their actions? Now, it doesn't help, either way, it is something negative, but it's about how you approach that. So you have that situation of conflict with, Joe Schmo over there, and they're commenting, and your immediate impulse, and I'm a passionate person like a lot of us are, but your immediate impulse is to attack, or to go on the defensive by attacking, is to get angry, to get, offended, defensive, all of those sorts of emotions. Being magical in nature and trying to explore that magical quality within yourself, it becomes pertinent not to leap to those immediate impulses. It becomes important to actually take a step back and take a thought, take a beat, make sure that what you're doing, your response is not just contributing to that negative nature. Because what that's going to do, it's going to draw you further and further away from your original intention, what the post was originally about, for instance. So maybe you don't immediately message that person. Maybe you don't immediately respond to that person's comment on your post. Maybe you don't tell all your friends behind the scenes how awful this person is and how you're in the right. Because in the end, who is that really serving? I feel like when it comes to conflict, just being human, we all really focus on that immediate gratification and that immediate small victory we have when we think we have one up on someone. And although we do feel some sort of satisfaction inside when we really, tell them what's what, it's not helping. And today, I think, what really came to light was that I was focusing on the wrong things. I was focusing on those immediate, the defensive nature of things, the aggressive nature of things. But when it comes to conflicts, I think what I need to start focusing on, and honestly, I think this is great advice, is my end goal. And so my main intention, my true intention, which is going to align with my true will in the overall scheme of things, that is what I need to focus on. That is what I need to figure out. Are these actions I'm taking, the posts that you're making or the private messages you're sharing, is that something that's going to take me closer to my end goal, closer to my true intention? Or is it going to send me further back? Because the more negative things that you do and the more it takes you away from that end intention, the more work you're going to have to do to get back the other way. It's not easy. We're all filled with so much passion and so much magic that it's hard to control. It's something that you have to learn and you have to truly grasp over time in order to really execute properly. So we think about those magical tools. We think about the things that we use to get us closer to our true intention. When it comes to situations of conflict, there's obviously tons of tools at our disposal. Maybe some you didn't even think about. Obviously, if you want to do some sort of spell work for it, you can think about different types of correspondences that align well with handling conflict. And so a lot of people really associate the element of air with communication. And when you're talking about handling conflicts, whether it's in person or if it's on social media, what you're really talking about is figuring out how to communicate properly, figuring out which type of communication you need to use in order to not only address the conflict head on, but really course through that path of figuring out how to achieve your end goal. So maybe we take a couple of correspondences of air. Maybe we find an amazing incense and we take a yellow candle and we truly sit down and reflect on the idea of communication. Tarot often has swords as their communication suit. And for me, maybe pulling out one of those cards that to me really reflects communication skills might help if I sit there and meditate on that before I respond, before I leap out, before I have a full understanding of how my actions are going to impact the situation and either going to help resolve the conflict or aid to its complete unraveling. We have to think about every action we take, whether it just seems completely mundane or it has that air of mysticism like lighting a candle and incense, and we have to treat them the same, because in the end we are literally using our words as tools. We're using words written on social media as tools. We're using the emotions that we impact other people we communicate with as tools in order to achieve our intention. And so when we leap to something like rashly approaching a conflict in a way that gives us immediate gratification, we're not using magic to our benefit. We're not using those tools that we have to really help you create change within yourself in order to achieve that end intention, which obviously if you're in a conflict, you have an intention towards the end of it, and you need to truly understand that in order to gather your tools together and implement them properly. These are just today's thoughts that I've had, and honestly, I know our world is filled with so many conflicts, and not every conflict is going to be solved with just, hey, just know what your end goal is and just don't be a jerk. Things get deeper than that, and everyone understands that, and everyone has those moments where they let their internal unbridled passion get the best of them, and they say something or do something that does not help resolve a conflict in their lives. But that's what makes us human, is that we're not perfect. We are having these experiences and we're trying our best, and we're ever searching for something like a true understanding of who we are in this world and what we want. And so I think that conflict is something that is a necessary part of life, and I think it's a necessary part of magic and really understanding magic. And the more we seek to actually understand what makes up conflict and how we can approach it, the better our lives are going to be. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.